and welcome to another episode of the Sound Good podcast. I am today's host, Michael.
Ahoy, hoy.
Ahoy, hoy?
Ahoy, hoy.
Okay, anyway. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing the little SoCal local emo rock band called the Natural 20s and their latest, newest album. I think it's their debut album called Everything Will Fall.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, actually.
They feel like an established band. We'll talk about it. But
yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. There might be an EP or an album before this. Anyway.
Because we know they're like 40, right?
Yeah.
Very ironic.
Yeah.
Natural
anyway,
20s.
But it's a D&D reference, dude. Come on.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They are 40.
Jesus. All right. Good way to start
Damn.
the episode off.
All right, news.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about that album today after we get through a little bit of some news and announcements.
It's a
And
decent amount this week.
to start that section off, I will get my one piece of news information out of the way.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, might as well.
I let you have
it. No, you didn't.
Go.
So yeah, progressive metal band Baroness, stoner metal band, sludge metal band, whatever you want to call them.
I was gonna say I feel like it's more on the like sludge, like
Yeah.
doom stoner.
Yeah, they can get kind of proggy, but anyway, Baroness has announced a new single off of an upcoming album, which I don't think we know the title of the album yet, but on their Instagram, this whole past week, they have been uploading their previous albums, Red, Blue, Yellow and Green, and Purple. They were posting those. They were posting the album art for those like once a day. And in the description of the post, they were giving the Pantone color code that corresponded to the album.
Interesting.
Yeah, somebody figured it out that it was a Pantone color code, but like they would just, I know for like, what was it? I can't remember the exact number codes, but they would just, I remember for Purple, they posted the Pantone color code for like lilac purple and all that stuff. But anyway, they were doing that leading up to, people thought it was a possible tease for a new album. And then on Friday, they dropped a video on Instagram of an opening clip of their new track called Borderline that we found out today is called Borderline. And I guess the only way you can hear it in full is via a live video, or if you go to any of their shows on their current tour, they're playing it live. So that's kind of cool. But the description for that, yeah, it's really cool. The description for that post was like 871C and 8C, which if you look those up in the Pantone color wheel, you get like a weird brown and gray.
That's
yeah, so okay. I'm really curious because the video they posted, the little teaser they posted, had a lot of like orange imagery in it. So there's some speculation the album might be called Orange, but I mean, I don't know if they're going to call it off the Pantone color wheels, man, then get ready for brown and gray.
Yeah,
I don't know, dude. It's arbitrary.
I don't know that bodes well for the for the impression of the album.
Yeah, whatever. The song.
I already have my
stupid.
Well. I already have my fucking stupid shit brown Dream Theater album. It's literally diarrhea color.
Very true. But yeah, that's really all the news I have. I'm excited for that. I've been following that band for years now, so I'm very excited.
At least from the half that we listened to, it was definitely a lot proggier than anything that I am like what I would assume to hear from them, you know?
Yeah. I was getting a lot of vibes from not their latest release, Purple, but the one that came before it, Yellow and Green. It was a double album.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel like this next album, because they gave two colors, is going to be a double album too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of gave off a vibe a little bit from their earlier Yellow and Green album. So, and that was, in my opinion, probably their more proggier album they've released. Because up until that point, Red and Blue are kind of just like heavier, sludgier metal albums.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm stoked for that. And that is my only piece of news. And hey, that is my phone going off. So
unprofessional.
Unprofessional as fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, go ahead and go into your news while I mute my phone.
Have you ever listened to Flesh God Apocalypse? Like ever?
You know what? Oh, geez, probably years
Italian
ago.
death metal.
Yeah, years ago. I know the name. I remember just like a few months ago, I actually unliked them on Facebook because I hadn't listened to them in so long.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw them open for the Black Dahlia Murder, and that's kind of what sold me on them because I don't know. They know how to make an already heavy song even heavier in the right moments, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess they just put out a new single called Sugar and for their new album. Oh no, I have to actually look up the name of that. But they have a new album coming out towards the end of May. And apparently their album previously was like an album after a hiatus, I think, because I mean the CD I got really touted that it was like a return of the Italian metal outfit or whatever.
I do remember them going on a hiatus for a little bit, and that's kind of like why I stopped listening to them, because they just hadn't been putting out music, so I kind of forgot about them. Yeah, I do remember they were on a hiatus.
Yeah, the new album will be called Veleno, and it'll come out May 24th. I retweeted the art on our Twitter, and it looks fucking sick. They definitely have like a weird, distinct tone from whatever artist they commissioned for that artwork. But yeah, they are definitely interesting, very operatic, very theatrical and over the top.
They're like a heavier Ghost.
Basically, yeah, like they are a band. They come out dressed basically as like old timey corpses.
Yeah.
Like live, and at first I was like, I don't know, but then like they own it. Like it's really good.
Yeah, it's kind of a lame aesthetic, but they pull it off.
Yeah, like the pianist in the background too. Like he's literally sitting on a bench with like his coattails hanging off, like, and just like, you know, like
bougie as fuck.
Yeah. Okay, and then very sad news. I guess I'll open it up with the good stuff. The guitarist for Native Construct put out a fucking killer EP called Atma yesterday.
Yeah, that thing is good, man.
Pohawk
is his name.
Oh, yeah, Pohawk. And dude, the synth on it, like, fucking nuts.
It's killer.
But I mean,
dude,
obviously the guitar too, but like.
Oh yeah, I was listening to that like all yesterday. I think, if I remember correctly, Pohawk is the guitar player from Native Construct who didn't use a pick when we saw him live. If I'm remembering the correct one.
I'm pretty sure.
So, but I mean, yeah, it's like a really I'm sorry to like steal your story here and your talking points, but like it's a very just proggy, like, I don't want to call it gent, but it's like I would put it like in that vein of music, but it does not like gent. It's not like gent shit. Like, it's very good, very good prog guitar work on the album a lot. I would compare it probably closer to stuff like Pliny, maybe.
Yes, definitely. But like then at the same time, it does still have the kind of trademark stuff that you would imagine from like Quiet World from Native Construct, but it's like even more chaotic compared to that. It definitely doesn't give you much room to breathe at all. No. But I think that's why it's only 20 minutes long, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an EP too, so.
Yeah, like I think it works as just a solid piece of music that's just like a wild ride, start to finish. I heard a lot of synth tones that reminded me a lot of like Jordan Rudess a little bit. Yeah. Like specifically stuff from Octavarium. I actually got a lot of vibes from, but not like what they were playing, just like the sound.
Right. So yeah, now the sad half of this news.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, I'm just gonna totally steal this story out from underneath you.
Go for it.
Yeah, Native Construct actually announced, what was it, 2 days ago, Thursday or Friday?
Yeah, it was on Thursday.
Yep, on Thursday, they made a post on Facebook about how they are going on an indefinite hiatus. I can't remember the exact reasonings, but it
just seemed like they were in the songwriting process for the new album, and it just kind of sounded like everyone in the band wasn't really feeling the same genre. I think clearly Poe is like still in the same like wheelhouse, but like maybe they just kind of split on like what they were feeling, because they did say something along the lines of like the new album wasn't really going to be in a metal direction at all, you know?
Yeah.
And they didn't really want to put a Native Construct like label on that.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, no, it's a service.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I mean, their only album was Quiet World from 2015.
At least we saw them live
Yeah, right. That was their last set of live shows, man. All those years ago.
Yeah,
that was the last time.
That Enslaved In Between the Buried and Me show.
Well, and what sucks about that, man, is like I can't remember. Did they play the rest of that tour? Because I know, like, immediately after that show in Lincoln that we saw them at, didn't they get all their gear stolen like the next night?
Yeah, like Texas, I think.
Yeah, so like wasn't that like pretty much like their last show? Like
a lot of it did eventually get replaced.
Oh, okay.
I remember that like some of the other bands on the tour like were generously chipped in to like help replace stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Poe did get like a new guitar. Like I think they did finish the tour, but yeah, because I remember him like giving a shout out, like thank you for helping get a new guitar.
Right. Yeah, that's always a bummer.
Something that was really exciting that kind of came out of nowhere and blindsided us was that Chino Moreno, that's his name, right?
Chino Moreno. Yeah.
Moreno. Yeah, he came out and just like spoke about the new Deftones album, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, and according to him, it'll be reminiscent of White Pony. So if you are a fan of that era, yeah.
Big excite.
Yeah, get excited. Yeah, I think that's.
I hope that means
that's basically.
I hope that means a Maynard feature again.
No,
because they featured him on Passenger on White Pony.
No, the album won't come out if he's tied to it. Don't.
Hey man, okay. Speaking of Tool, we got to start a counter for this now until the album comes out. They uploaded a picture on Facebook of them in the studio, all together.
Was it them?
Yeah.
I couldn't pick Maynard out of that. Like, was he wearing a wig?
He was the overweight dude in the middle.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm almost positive.
I guess I haven't. I don't know. I don't think so.
It looked like him. He had the shaved head and the glasses, dude. And he's not a very tall dude. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think he's a very tall guy. I think he's like 5'8", 5'7".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm almost positive that's him.
I don't know. Last time I saw them live, which was like 2 years ago, he didn't look overweight.
Well, I mean, they have been kind of quiet for more like 2 years, so
shoving food in his face.
It's hard to sing when you're slamming down burgers, man.
Tough to get a clean take.
Sorry. No, you know what? I'm not going to apologize for this until they put the album out. So,
but Dana Carey's a good boy. No, Dana Carey. Oh God, not Dana Carey. Is that his name? Yeah, it's Dana Carey, right?
I can't remember, the drummer? But it sounds like you're. I feel like I'm saying
Dana
Carvey.
That's who I think.
That's definitely not him.
That's who I thought it. Yeah, it's Danny Carey. Danny Carey. Yeah. Okay. I know. I said that, and I went. Did I just say Dana Carvey?
Oh my God.
Oh, Michael. I found some new news.
Oh yeah.
It's really important.
What is it?
Guys, everyone, did you know it's been 1,200 days exactly?
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Since
what? 1,200 days.
Since what?
Since Brian Posehn unfairly blocked Michael on Twitter.
Since Brian what?
Posehn unfairly blocked Michael on Twitter. Brian Posehn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know why.
Posehn.
Anyway, oh God, do you hear that?
Is it Mark Zuckerberg untagging himself?
No, you fool. It's a transition into the album review.
Oh.
Boy, we're just getting better and better at these transitions every week. I tell you what.
Every single week.
Every single week.
It's a learning process.
What do you mean? I'm pretty sure we've got it down at this point. I think we've got it down.
The way I do it is I come up with like 4 or 5 intros I want to do, and then I just use those as the bullshit I'll say in the middle of the episode.
Oh man. Anyway, review section time. Woohoo! Whoa. Like I mentioned in the intro, the album we're going to be discussing today is the newest album by Southern California-based emo band The Natural 20s. Now, I heard about this album due to being in an emo-based group on Facebook, and one of the band members, Daniel, was kind enough to let me know about this album, and I decided I wanted to talk about it because it's a pretty good album.
You know, it's a free country. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, it's a pretty good album. I mean, just to start it off right off the bat, I'm gonna say
spoilers.
This is a good album.
I mean, yeah, it's a solid if it is their debut album, like we think, right?
I have a very strong feeling I'm wrong, because I think on their like Spotify page they have another album from 2015. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll just avoid saying it's a debut album and just call it their latest.
Sure. I just know it was really hard to find. Like, I can't find it on YouTube. Period.
I think it's actually
really
only
come up
on
with search
like
results.
Bandcamp and Spotify and their website, which is
I have it on Google.
Natural20s.net. Oh, and it's on Google Play. Okay.
The funniest part to me though, like maybe they want to double check that, because on Google Play when it says it's oh shit, what's the name of the album? Everything Will Fall.
Everyone Will Fall.
Everyone Will Fall. Will only has one L in the title.
Oh, well, okay. There's some helpful information.
But yeah, like raw first impression. We talked about it when you suggested it. I really enjoy that the album art itself, like even digitally that you see online, is reminiscent of like a jewel case, where like the like name of the album on the left side would be like where the like the hinge for like opening it would be, and everything.
For any younger fans, if implying that anybody under the age of 18 listens to this podcast, jewel cases are the clear plastic CD cases that you see commonly.
Yeah, it's not like a jewel pod, fucking degenerate. But no, they're the CD cases that you always crack on accident, and you're depressed every time you go to.
Exactly.
Or like you crack or you like break off like the little bits in the center where the CD like goes in, and the CD won't stay in the case properly, so when you open it falls out immediately.
Or like right on the spine, the little connector pieces, you just snap one of those on accident, opening it up, and then the CD case doesn't close anymore. That's great. It's great. I love jewel cases.
Yeah, or you break one off, and every time you open it, you have to like carefully like align the other one and like or like put it back on.
Exactly. So
but
anyway,
something, and I think in that vein, since we went down that road, like everything about this album to me feels like just inherently nostalgic.
Yeah, it is. It is a very like, and like it's weird to say it sounds like an old album, but it has that very strong early 2000s, like late 90s emo feel to it. Just where it's very rocky, but also manages to dip a little bit into like the post-rock element of emo with the opening track, which I am
it's just like a
blanking
4-minute
on right now. Oh, Beware the Wolves.
Yeah, and it's just a 4-minute instrumental track.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they dip really like far into the post-rock.
That's such a ballsy way to open an album.
Yeah. I was my first listen, I thought, oh, is this just going to be like an entirely instrumental thing? And then the second track, Bells on Fire, started, and I was like, oh, there's vocals, and they're also really good. And I think there's two vocalists. There's two people who do vocals.
The dude on Bells on Fire absolutely does the like kind of heavier yelling vocals.
Like the yelling and pressure.
Yeah, and I love that he like does like a emo scream that I've heard before, where it's like a yell, but then it's like very like vibrato-y, like
it's like very stressed, kind of just like
and I've heard that in higher register, so it was really interesting to hear him doing it in a lower register for like what they do on this album. Like I've heard plenty of emo where it's like usually the singer just singing higher pitched,
right?
But
oh god, sorry, was
I was like, burp. Oh man, was it that boring of a point? Jesus,
doing a big burp. No, sorry. This okay, to get back onto the album, it is 7 tracks long, about 36-ish minutes, about the same time length as Lilac King's album we talked about last week.
And again,
last episode.
In that vein, also it's a very chill and easy listen.
Yeah, it is a very easy listen. There's a lot of points that catch your attention. I know specifically in like Hypertension, that whole song just captures like my attention. Like, I feel like Hypertension is where I start really paying attention to the album.
Yeah, it's nuts that like, so they have the balls to open with a pretty like just relaxed instrumental track, and then go into like kind of a heavier song on Bells on Fire, and then just in the middle of the album have a very like slow tempo, like 5.5 minute track, right?
Is that Electric 11? Because that one's about 5.
No, Hypertension's like 5 minutes. Isn't
no,
it?
It's 3. 3 and 3, almost 4.
I'm crazy. Damn it!
It's the one we're listening to now, dude. It's like 3 minutes and 43 seconds.
I can't know that without. Like, how am I supposed to know that just from hearing it? Go, yes, this is 3 minutes.
I mean, you can just look at the Discord, but
no. But yeah, no, like
we've been
it's
exposed.
just, I don't know. It's again pacing of an album. It's really cool for them to just throw a song like this in the middle to give you a break, but then immediately after is Pressure the song after this?
Pressure is after the next song, which is Electric 11.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. Pressure's the second to last track.
Okay, how heavy is Electric 11? I can't remember off the top of my head. Is it heavier than this?
I believe so. But I mean, like, Jesus. Hold on, I'm getting there.
We're doing it.
I'm getting there. It's a little.
Yeah. Okay. So it kind of carries the.
Yeah, this is the song I remember that had the chorus ohs in it. It actually reminded me a lot of a Libations song that KC based band that we talked about in that Bandcamp wrap up episode of season 1, I believe, is when that was.
Yeah.
What was that, like episode 20 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that it came from Bandcamp thing.
No, we did fan recommendations for that episode.
Oh yeah, that's right, the fan recommendations. That's right, the Bandcamp thing was your episode. Yeah. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of God, I can't remember the track. I don't even want to say it. It might be Segelhund. I'm not sure, but they have that line, and I thought that was really reminiscent of that, and it was cool and just really strange how like two bands halfway across the United States from each other like thought of like a similar thing like that.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely a good song to bring up the fact that I really enjoy all of the leads on this album because they're constantly just this very melodic, just kind of arpeggiating in the background all the time.
Like I mentioned earlier, this band does a really good job of mixing the like the heavier rock parts of emo, and then they go really well into like the twinkle and the post rock emo, like parts of emo that like comprise the genre.
It's a lot more isolated on this track. But everywhere, like it is present everywhere else.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like while almost every song does have, like you said, the arpeggiating like lead line, they're all different and they're all interesting in their own way. So it's like you never get bored of hearing that style. It just kind of compounds on itself throughout the album and just gets like, I almost want to say it just gets better as it goes on. Even though I do think Beware the Wolves has like the peak sound just solely because it's a post-rock track, it's an instrumental.
I think that it's really smart to use that as like a lead / backing guitar line because it's really what lends a like forward moving kind of sway to the album as a whole. Like you can really move back and forth to almost every lead line. Right.
Oh, and speaking about the album as a whole too, I wanted to mention this. This album sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
dude.
You can really
like production-wise. Oh my god!
I could hear the bass.
yeah. Like I don't know. Like I know they self-released it. It's really it's a self-release. They're not on a label.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But I want to know if they recorded it themselves or if they went somewhere, because if this is like a DIY recording, this is good. Like whoever recorded this, good. Like, man, or like, who produced it or whatever, really, really good mix. Everything sounds really wide. You can hear every instrument, you can hear every vocal line, you can hear every voice, but not like with all of those things, while you can hear every element of the music in this album, nothing really steps on another part's foot. Like when you hear the guitars, it's not like, oh, I can hear the guitars, but I can't hear the vocals and the drum, the bass, or I can hear the drums and the bass, but now I can't hear the chorus. So it's like, I don't know, phenomenal mixing job, honestly. Like, for a self-released album, especially.
Yeah, and that kind of brings it to a point that I was thinking of too. I really enjoy how, like, the style / effect they put on a lot of the vocals. It always sounds like the vocals are slightly like far away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's not that you can't hear them or that anything is drowning it out. It's like clearly a stylistic choice.
Yeah. Like I said, everything just sounds like it has its own spot in the mix, and it's like done so well. Where or even though everything has their own spot, and nothing is getting drowned out by another thing, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like very kudos to whoever mixed the album and whoever produced it and all that stuff, because. Along with the obviously the good performances from the band members themselves, whoever did the production just above and beyond. It really sounds really good, especially, it sounds weird to say this, but like especially for like a band that is not like, is as small as this band supposedly is.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a huge local scene with them or anything, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember at all that like there's a part in Gray where just like there's an explosion of synth?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that at all? Because like, holy shit, that really made the song.
Yeah. It was
really
like
good.
one of the few uses of synth on the album.
Yeah, and it really makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, what is it? Yeah, Bells on Fire. Like the entire guitar solo just has this really sick phaser effect on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like there's just really cool like effects used throughout the album too.
Yeah.
Just kind of blindside you.
Speaking of the effects, I can't remember which song. I think it might be Gray, or it actually might be Cobainication. But they have a track where the vocalist sounds like we say this with a lot of emo bands, I'm realizing, but the vocals sounded very reminiscent of the Strokes.
I think that it might be maybe Cobainication, possibly. Also, can we talk about that name?
What? Yeah, Cobainication. I wonder if
you said they're from California. I was like, okay.
I wonder if it's like a shotgun to the face kind of reference. Like, I wonder if it's that kind of meaning, or what kind of meaning is behind the name Cobainication.
So sorry about that weird jump cut there. No one heard that.
What?
Anyway, I don't know. Heard what?
What are you talking about? You have to tell me. I am the person who edits.
Can't just go around talking about shotguns to the face, Michael.
I can when it's Kurt Cobain. Hey man, all I know is Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain, and nobody will ever fucking say it. So. Whatever. It's fine.
Anyway,
yeah, though. I mean, I don't know. I don't really like have a lot else to say about the album. It's very well produced. The composition on each song is very, distinct and very. None of these songs sound the same to each other. Nope. Like I think the only similarities,
or samey.
Yeah, I think the only similarities would be like Beware the Wolves and Bells on Fire. I feel like they share a main riff with the intro of Bells on Fire.
That's probably intentional though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think that might be like intentional, but that's the only place where I'm just like, oh, that kind of sounds like that song. But even then, it's not a bad thing. It's it's a motif. It's a motif builder. But yeah, like just everything about this album, dude, is good. Good vocals,
what was your favorite song?
Good guitars, good mixing, good art. The album art is fantastic. My favorite song, shit, man, probably it's probably either Beware the Wolves or Pressure.
I was gonna say mine's definitely Pressure.
Yeah, and speaking of Pressure, I don't think we really highlighted.
Mostly, I was gonna say the reason it's my favorite is the delay effect that they use around 3:30.
Oh, okay.
In that song.
I was gonna mention how much different like Pressure is from the rest of the album, and like how I feel like that needs to be mentioned because it might throw you off like when you first hear it, because it's right after
they build up to it.
Yeah,
when it's in context of the album, it works.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like right after these two moderately slow and quiet-ish tracks, and then you just get blasted with these like screaming and yelling, and like it's so good. It's just, I mean, it just blows you away for a second because you're like, oh, whoa, is this the same band still? But then
yeah,
they
then
clearly
there's,
come
like,
back with it, and it makes sense.
Yeah. There's like, they bring back like those twinkly leads towards the end, and that's where they're using like the delay effect. And I think that really like kind of brings the song back into like a grouping with all the other songs in terms of sound. I think you just have that slight detour with the first half.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else that you would like to make mention about? No. Okay.
I like it a lot though.
So then, final closing thoughts. Great album. Definitely give it a listen if you can. It is available, like we mentioned at the beginning, on Spotify. I believe it's on Bandcamp, Google Play. Not on YouTube.
Imagine on iTunes also.
Yeah, it's probably on iTunes. I believe it's on every streaming platform, probably except for YouTube, because that's whatever. No, definitely.
I don't know.
Definitely
Poe put his EP on YouTube.
Yeah, right. It's like only on YouTube. No,
it's on Spotify. It's just hard to find.
I know. Yeah, it's really hard to find.
He doesn't come up if you search his name.
Yeah, I know, dude. What the hell? That actually like got really aggravating for me. And there's no like on my keyboard on my phone, you can't like do the little accented A that he did for Atma.
Yeah, he posted a link to his Spotify on his Facebook.
Yeah. So. I saw that on Instagram. He's got his link tree in his Instagram bio. But great album by the Natural 20s. Like we said, SoCal-based emo band. The album again is Everyone Will Fall. Good album. Definitely give it a listen if you're a fan of the music. If you're still listening to if you're a longtime listener of this podcast, you're most likely a fan of emo or metal. So it's going to get somebody in our audience. Someone. But that's really all we got to say about the discussion for the album.
Yeah. What's been going on in your life musically?
What's been going on in my life musically?
Selling all your pedals?
Yeah, selling all my pedals. Doing, gotta find a way to fund myself in Axe Effects, man.
Yeah.
I will say I got we talked about the Protest the Hero remaster reissues of Scurrilous.
We didn't talk about how it sounded though.
Yeah. But we talked about like the reissues of Scurrilous, and what was the other one? Was it I don't remember.
What, the other Protest the Hero thing?
It wasn't Volition, was it?
Well, yeah, they did. They reissued Volition and Scurrilous at the same time.
Yeah, that's
what
the
most recent tour.
But my record came in the other day, and it looks sick. And
it's probably the nicest looking vinyl that I have, honestly.
I'm afraid to play it.
Like between like the gatefold artwork and the record itself, like it legitimately is probably like the coolest looking vinyl I've ever got.
Yeah, I actually kind of regret opening it.
Bumping up like the colors and like enhancing the artwork was a really smart move.
Oh yeah,
compared to the original.
And I think they actually made the album art, because didn't the album art like digitally and all that stuff before, didn't it have like a border around it that's different than the vinyl album remaster or reissue art?
I think it's the same border, it's just in a different place now.
It just looks bigger, like it looks closer to the picture, like if you compare it.
Yeah, because before it was like a white backdrop with like the cool like curly border on the like edges, like left and bottom edges, and then like the artwork was just in the center. So like the border was completely removed from the artwork itself. Yeah,
right.
But on this, like the entire gatefold is the artwork, and then the border is still there. It's just on the art itself.
Yeah, that's looks fantastic.
God, it looks so good. So I've been jamming that a lot. I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, so I still need to get to Porter with Love. But yeah, then a few days ago I just re-listened to Sex Tapes just because it's really good. That song is so much better than it has any right to be with its stupid fucking lyrics,
dude. Right? Like
the melodies are so good.
Why does a song with the lines, now all the editors are hard and all the journalists are wet and all the boys are jerking off in private on the internet? Why does a song with those lyrics in it have the right to be that good? So stupid.
It's the dumbest song.
It's the dumbest song thematically.
Be careful what you're looking at, because it might be staring back.
Yeah, right.
Or looking back. Yeah.
It's the dumbest song thematically, but like the best song musically.
Yeah. So there's that. So I jammed a lot of Protest. kind of backed off on Dream Theater a little bit. I did get my box set. So I have my Pooh Brown that I actually haven't opened yet. Yeah. I haven't opened the Pooh Brown. So that's going to stay in the wrapping. You're going to keep that poop wrapped.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. Cellophane. But yeah, I did get my box set for Dream Theater. So it's really cool that it has a holographic cover on the box, on the front of the box itself. So like depending what angle you look at it, the skull will like turn. If you look at it from above, the skull's like facing forward in the robot hand.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and so yeah, it's really cool. It comes with the vinyl, obviously, and it's like it's not bone white, it's just like pure white, and then like the center is red, so it's nice contrast between red and white there. And it is, I mean, I forgot which band. Yeah, Protest the Hero did it. Why can't Dream Theater put out 45s?
Yeah,
Why is the album a 33?
I mean, honestly, because then they'd probably have to make it like a double LP or a triple LP.
It is a double LP, though.
Is it already a double LP?
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah, it would definitely make it like a 3 LP.
But, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And it also came with a 7-inch vinyl of, like, the epic, quote-unquote, of the album, even though it's only, like, 9.5 minutes or whatever, of Pale Blue Dot, which looks cool. And then I didn't know when I ordered it, but the reverse side of the 7-inch also has the bonus track Viper King. So there's, like, really cool different artwork. Awesome. Like the back of it's just like scales.
Yeah, it was like snakeskin. Yeah, that looked really cool.
Yeah, and then the album stupidly comes with, well, okay, it's not stupid that there's a book in it, because it's cool, because like every single song has its own, you know how when they release singles it kind of had cooler artwork than the album itself. Yeah, every single song actually has its own individual artwork, not just the singles.
That's sick.
Yeah, and so like every page with the lyrics has like that artwork, and it's a pretty huge hardcover book. But then the cover on the inside of the front is where the CDs and the 5.1 like surround sound DVDs are, and it's like, why aren't they in a case?
Yeah, that's the the same thing that happened with the Unheavenly Creatures box set from Coheed and Cambria. They did the same thing. They put that makes me so mad. They put the CD version of Unheavenly Creatures, and then was it London House?
Yeah, like the demos.
Yeah, the demos for the album in the back cover of the book. And it's like, can you give me a case, please? I really want to listen to these demos, but I don't want to take it into my car without a case.
Yeah, my only CD player's in my car, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm probably never gonna listen to this album on CD, sadly.
Yeah,
but
just like I'll
fine.
never listen to the acoustic versions of the entirety of Nightstand because it's all on cassette.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I'm also in the same boat on Coheed, because when I see them live, like the ticket package I got, I'm going to get those same demos you have, but on cassette. They're just making it impossible to ever hear those demos.
Nice. Solid.
Yeah, and then finally, I got to see, just keep on jerking them off, I got to see Rivers of Nile last night, and alongside Entheos, and so it was a pretty dope show. A local Kansas City band called Ahtme, like AHTME, was the opener, and then there was Wolf King, which are really cool. I'd like to get you to listen to them a little bit. They're in that same vein of no, maybe I'm thinking of Conjurer. One of them, like Wolf King or Conjurer, are in the same vein of like paced death metal, kind of like Job for a Cowboy, that we talked about, how like we like it when it's kind of like slower paced but still like heavy as shit, you know?
Right, yeah.
But not like in the stoner
gloom,
regime.
Like ominous death metal, yeah.
Yeah, like it still gets up to pace at parts, but like for the most part, it's like very ominous and doomy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're really cool. And then Entheos played their newest album in its entirety, Dark Future, which was really cool. I think it's less than 40 minutes, so that worked as an opening thing. And then Rivers of Nile played their entire new album, Where Owls Know My Name, in its entirety. And they did have a dude doing keys for it. And then they hired a saxophonist to play those parts, which was, God, it was so good. God damn it, it was so good. Specifically like Terrestria, because like Terrestria 3, because every single album they've had through the 3 albums, they've had a song called Terrestria, and each one's been a sequel off the other, and they're always instrumental songs. And Terrestria 3 is basically like kind of a sax solo, but there's also just very like drony rock instruments behind it. But then it just has this insane synth drop that's just so deep and bassy, and live that works so well. So good. I think that was like I headbanged the most to that song compared to everything else.
Right.
Yeah, and then at the end they played a 2-song encore, and the final song they played Sand Baptism. I don't remember, the first song came from their first album, like in the encore. I don't know what that song was, but the final song was from Monarchy, their second album, and they incorporated the saxophone into that. So it was cool to hear a different album, and they like arranged saxophone into it.
Well, cool.
That's all that. Yeah,
that's all that. That's awesome.
Almost longer than the review.
Yeah. Wow. Holy shit. Jesus. We sure do. If we're good,
bands.
If we're good at one thing, it's rambling.
Hey man, no, they deserve to be talked about.
No, yeah, they definitely do. As does the Natural 20s. So yeah,
they do.
So yeah, I guess that is gonna be the end of the episode, right? Probably.